This is it, ladies and gentlemen. The time is here. It is time to start the offseason. And one of the biggest things that happen in the NFL offseason is the NFL draft. One of my favorite times of the year. Really displays how good you are at football knowledge, how to predict these things, especially for your favorite team. So what I've compiled today is my 7th round mock draft. Well, basically 6th round because the Giants don't have a 7th round pick, but our 6th round mock draft for the New York Giants. Now, this is going to have every single pick the New York Giants have. This will have no trades in it in this first mock draft. Maybe once in the future, I'll put some trades in there. But this is just the picks that we have. No trades, no nothing. And I'm going to try to make it as realistic as possible. Maybe some of these picks won't be realistic just because of value. Other people will have prospects valued at certain areas. So without further ado, let's cue the intro. Now, before we start this video, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button and subscribe for more content coming your way. I'm also going to be resetting the membership, and I'm going to turn it into something different, more of a universal membership where we don't have tiers. We're just going to have one universal membership, so I'll be getting that going in the coming days. It might be up before you guys see this video, so you guys may be able to join and become a member right away. Now, before we start anything, we want to make sure we have everything in place, what we are looking for in this NFL draft. Obviously, free agency has not happened yet, so there's still a bunch of speculation as to where the Giants are going to go in the draft, and that's all going to be based on where the Giants go in free agency. They have tons and tons and tons of options. There are tons of things they can do in free agency that can completely flip this draft upside down for the New York Giants, but we are going to try to keep things in place here. We're going to assume that the Giants, go ahead and re-sign Leonard Williams, and they somehow address the wide receiver situation. But in my honest opinion, I think Kenny Golladay is going to sign a franchise tag. I think he's going to get tagged, and I believe we're not going to be able to get Allen Robinson for the price he may be asking for. We're probably around that $22-25 million range, and if so, I don't even see the Giants putting a $20 million contract per year on Allen Robinson. So I think we're going to strike out on the higher tier guys, and we'll get towards the lower tier, mid tier wide receivers in free agency, if that. And I also think we can pick one up, pick a cornerback in free agency as well. We could do some stuff in free agency, but the first thing we have to do is establish the team needs, right? The Giants, what do they need? So our first need is wide receiver. I think that is our top priority. Now I'm going to be going in a chronological order of priority, just an order of priority for the New York Giants needs. So first need is wide receiver. Then we are going to go to the edge rushers. That's our second need, in my opinion. Then our third need, I would say, is our cornerbacks, and our fourth need would have to be our offensive line, and then our fifth need is linebacker. Now, I know you see more needs on the defensive side of the ball than the offensive side of the ball. That does not mean the Giants should not prioritize offense in this draft and in this offseason. This defense is good. We need to try to maintain it the best we can. We have some upcoming free agents this year, upcoming free agents next year. We have to find a way to maintain them, and that's why I have needs there for them, especially for depth reasons as well. The edge rushers are just always hurt, so that's why I have 3 defensive needs and 2 offensive needs. But the Giants should definitely prioritize offense in this coming draft, and that offensive line need really expands to tackle, guard, center. It expands the whole offensive line, and tight end is really not much of a need. Running back, obviously not a need, and I wouldn't say quarterback is a need. So just because there's 2 offensive needs doesn't mean I'm not prioritizing the offense. With our needs established and in place, let's get on to the draft. Alright, so round 1, pick 11. I have the New York Giants selecting Jalen Waddle, wide receiver out of Alabama, standing at 5'10", 183 pounds. He had a total of just under 2,000 yards with 1,999 yards, 17 touchdowns on 106 receptions in his career. Had a phenomenal career, was hurt last year, tried his best to play in the championship game, looked all right, but you could tell that he was hurt in the playoffs. You look at his return game, he didn't return a lot of kicks, returned a decent amount of punts, however, and had an insane number in 2019 of total average punt return yardage of 24.4 on punt return yardage average. I mean, that's insane. And total average is 19. So he does damage in the punt and kick return game, and he also is obviously a huge threat in on offense. Now, I have the Giants getting Jalen Waddle, and I know he doesn't really fit what the Giants need right now. I love Jalen Waddle. I would love him on my team. I'd probably prefer Devontae Smith, but I really don't think the Giants are going to come out with a Devontae Smith or a Jamar Chase. I think both of those guys may go out in the top 10. I know that's going to be so hard to believe because we haven't seen that since 2014 with Sammy Watkins and Mike Evans going in the first round in the top 10, but I don't know. I just see Jamar Chase and Devontae Smith getting that top 10 nod. Maybe Jalen Waddle sneaks in there and we get Devontae Smith instead. But I'm going to keep it realistic here. I'm going to say those two guys are off the board and the Giants go with Jalen Waddle. Alright, so round 2, our 42nd pick in the NFL draft. The New York Giants select Jalen Phillips, edge rusher out of Miami, 6'5", 266. Totaled his career with 86 tackles, 23 and a half tackles for loss, 12 and a half sacks, an interception, and 5 passes defensed in his entirety of his career. And he had a phenomenal year in his first year with Miami as a transfer from UCLA. Now, if you watch film on Jalen Phillips, you may be wondering how the hell is he wearing the same number as, Greg Rousseau. Well, Greg Rousseau, as raw as he is, opted out in 2020, and they were able to get a transfer in there, Jalen Phillips, and he was able to kind of take the place of Greg Rousseau, and he did a phenomenal job, absolutely great. He's one of the best edge rushers in this draft. He may find his way in the first round. I'm hoping that with all the supreme talent, like especially at quarterback, we may get a lot of quarterbacks drafted in the first round, wide receivers and cornerback maybe. I just hope it just gets stacked at that point where we're able to get a guy like Jalen Phillips in the second round. I know we should probably go after, maybe another offensive line. I know some people want an interior offensive lineman this high, or they want a cornerback this high. I just think with the value available and the fact that Jalen Phillips may sneak to the second round, I am automatically taking this guy. I think he will be a good pick for the New York Giants, especially with that rotation with the edge rushers, Lorenzo Carter and O'Shane Ximenez. They're coming back as off of season-ending injuries. We don't know how consistent they're gonna be, and I just love Jalen Phillips' game. Extremely strong, fast off the edge, plays contained very well, has good instincts on top of that, knows how to stunt inside, very lanky guy, long arms, and does a good job stopping the run as well. So huge fan of Jalen Phillips, and I have the Giants taking him in round 2. Alright, this is where we're going to get a little shaky here, guys. Alright, so I know that everybody wants a cornerback in this draft very early because of the gap with that number 2 corner spot, but the Giants can address that in free agency. They can do something there, and if worse comes to worse, Isaac Yiadom is really not a bad number 2. He's really developed over the season for the Giants in 2020. So in round 3, I have the Giants sticking to their guns and prioritizing the offense, and more importantly, prioritizing that wide receiving core, and I have the Giants selecting Tamorrion Terry, wide receiver out of Florida State, standing at 6'4", 210 pounds. This may be the guy the Giants have been looking for ages. A guy that is taller, has some speed to him, can grab those 50-50 balls, the guy that can line up on the outside and just snag some, just moss guys. I see Tamari and Terry being that guy, and I love the fact that we already drafted a star wide receiver, so we don't have to look for a Scary Terry to be our number one guy or really be our number one target, a guy that we drafted in the 3rd round. We're bringing in 2 wide receivers that can help Daniel Jones spread the ball around. You don't want to just bring in Jalen Waddle and just force feed him the ball. You want to try to spread out this offense. I don't mind if the Giants get 2 wide receivers in this draft. I think Tamari Terry and Jalen Waddle would be just like a yin and yang, really. The taller, taller type of red zone threat in Tamari Terry, and Jalen Waddle, that can, that's a burner, a nice slot guy that can line up on the outside, extremely good route runner, right? So I love that yin and yang there with Jalen Waddle and Tamari Terry. In total, in Tamari Terry's career, 2,021 yards and 18 touchdowns in his career. Listen, if you turn on his tape in 2020, it's not great, but not because of him. He struggled with injuries, yes, but that Florida State offense is so bad. Hornibrook at quarterback, I forgot his first name, but Hornibrook at quarterback, he was a lefty at quarterback. I don't know if that makes much of a difference, but, definitely he's not playing play side because he's on the other side. So, and on top of that, the offensive line was absolutely putrid there in Florida State, so obviously not a lot of time to get the ball out, especially to an outside receiver like Tamari Terry, but this guy can make plays, especially running after the catch. As tall as he is, he's able to move around. He has some elusiveness, some agility to him, can make some swift cuts. I really like Tamari Terry in the 3rd round, 76 overall for the Giants. All right, now we're going to round 4, the 106th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft. The New York Giants select Eric Stokes, cornerback out of Georgia. Yes, another Georgia cornerback, but hear me out here, all right? There's another 27 guy, right? Eric Stokes wears 27, just like DeAndre Baker did with the New York Giants. 6'1", 185, definitely an outside guy. I really love his instincts, the way he's able to play the ball. His stats are impeccable, 78 tackles. Now, of course, you don't want a high amount of tackles for your cornerback. That just means they're giving up plays. But I think he's a good prospect, man. 4 interceptions in his career, 22 passes defense, a sack, tackle for loss, and 2 touchdowns. I believe they were off of pick sixes. This guy is not afraid to get down in the trenches and tackle, not afraid to blitz the quarterback, not afraid to tackle in open spaces. This guy loves to tackle, man. 78 tackles shows something there, all right, and has good instincts, makes really good jumps on slant routes. I believe he had 2 interceptions on slant routes, and a couple of passes defense there too. Guarding from the outside. I think he's a really good prospect, and he's a guy, obviously, I think can be a starter, but if worse comes to worse, he adds some depth to this cornerback room, and a cornerback room that I think is developing very well. So adding Eric Stokes in there should not be a bad option. So that being said, Eric Stokes at 106. All right, for our final 2 picks, they are both in the 6th round, and this is obviously looking for some depth, looking for some, some special teams players, right? Guys that are nasty, guys that like to hit. So in round 6, with the 171st pick, I have the Giants taking Abraham Lucas, offensive tackle out of Washington State, 6'7", 324 pounds. Now he's going to add some depth to this tackle spot, tackle room right here for the New York Giants, and it says here that he's going to be develop into a good backup right tackle, possibly maybe one day a starter. The guy has the biggest ships for feet I've ever seen. I've watched all 22 film of him, and his feet, his shoes just stand out to me. So that tells me maybe he's going to be hard to move, man, if he has those anchors there at the bottom of his feet. Obviously bring some competition there for Matt Pear and whoever else we bring in if we decide to keep Cam Fleming there. So, would add some depth there for the offensive line. And then we have Nate Landman, inside linebacker out of Colorado, 6'3", 230 pounds. Guy totaled 284 tackles, 36 tackles for loss, 10 sacks, 3 interceptions, 7 passes defense, and 2 forced fumbles. This guy was extremely productive in his time in Colorado, and obviously would add some more depth to that inside linebacker room. You know, I believe we still have TJ Brunson. I'm not sure, but he was on the practice squad last year, did not make the 53-man roster. I'm talking about guys that were drafted last year for the inside linebackers. Cam Brown was switched from inside linebacker to edge rusher, so he's not in the equation anymore. And then we obviously have Tay Crowder there. So I guess you could say the Giants know how to draft inside linebackers late right now, right? Dave Gettleman knows how to do that. I didn't really want to draft another inside linebacker, our 4th inside linebacker in the later rounds in 2 years. Didn't want to do that, but this guy honestly could be a good addition on special teams. The guy, you know, the Giants may want to consider keeping him on for special teams. And I honestly, who knows, he could be another Tay Crowder that pops up for us and can make some plays on the defensive side of the ball. So that being said, guys, that is my 7th-round mock draft, or just 6th-round mock draft for the New York Giants. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. This is only the 1.0, so take it easy on me in the comments. I'm still going through my film. Maybe there are some guys that I missed that I should have put the Giants taking. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Woo!